I work in the middle of the day again, which is super annoying. But today we are putting the table back to its honorary home in order to use some of the stuff that I'm taking off the table. We talked about making sandbags, and then a lot of people commented helpful things with air dry clay and milliput. I do have a good amount of milliput that I should probably just use. So I'm thinking about doing that. Nice. Okay, so we need things to populate the table. So, this is all I could find of the grave markers that I made before. But these are the molds of all the grave markers that I have. And they seem to be in like okay shape. I probably shouldn't like stretch them out too much because they're really old. I might be able to find something to put in them, like plaster or something. Anyways, these ones are molded with a quick resin. I think it sets in like 5 or so minutes. But it's really expensive and I don't have any. But I could still use these as they are. And then this was a chess piece that I made a long time ago, a pawn, and it has weird like symbols on the top and some skulls. I don't know, but it looks kind of cool and I feel like it could be something. Yeah. So I'm collecting things like that, and I would love to hear your suggestions about what you think I should put, what other kind of decoration pieces you think I should put. Because as it stands, the table is kind of flat and there's not much going on, and I kind of want to keep it that way based on all the pictures and stuff I've seen. And I want the dynamicism, is that a word? Is that a word? Dynamic. I want the dynamic nature of the table to come from the little bits and pieces that I glue on top. So that brings us to sandbags. There were some good comments about sandbags. I don't know how many times I've said that already, but milliput, air dry clay, I could maybe use Sculpey. I don't know. Can you look in the clay drawer real quick?
Oh yeah, we got lots.
We have lots of Sculpey? Oh, we do have lots of Sculpey. Oh my god. There's one more. Why do we have so much Sculpey?
Because they were craft shops that were going out of business.
Right, they were going out of business.
And I only need like a little bit.
Yeah, we should probably use these. They're gonna go bad if they haven't already. Okay, looks like we're trying to make, nice dated. Looks like we're gonna try to make sandbags out of Sculpey. Ta-da! We have 2. Didn't we buy one at a
I think it's the top one. I don't think we used it.
Okay. So, well, we'll use the one that we already have used. Pasta Queen. Did I say Speed Queen?
You did.
What the fuck is a Speed Queen?
Ta-da! Having a great time at the parties.
Okay. Perfect. Brilliant. what's the channel called?
I'm bad at gaming.
I'm Bad at Gaming.
Same.
Has a great tutorial, and he uses milliput, and he also used air dry clay mixed with glue. I'm just using Sculpey because apparently we have 50 million cases. But it looks good to me. The conundrum that I was having is, do I bake them singularly and then stack them later, or do I make a little, pile of them and then bake them? And the issue is that if I don't make them into a pile and they bake and they're hard, they're gonna like sit on top of each other in a way that doesn't really look like a sandbag. The weight of a sandbag would sit on top of another sandbag, and that's enough to bug me. So I'm gonna do some lines and some singular just so that that problem is solved. The issue is I'm realizing I'm gonna have to make, hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Hold this.
okay.
12:07.
It's 12:07, and I have to work at 3 o'clock, which means that I need to probably start getting ready at like 2:15. 12:07 is an hour and like 2 hours. 12:07 basically is 2 hours time. So, and I also have other chores to do. Okay, I'm gonna see how many of these that I can get done in 1 hour starting now. Okay, it's been just shy of an hour by like a few minutes, but I've made 60 of them in that time. And then they started to get less nice looking. So there's obviously a good sort of in-between time of making. And I made exactly 60 in an hour or so, give or take a few minutes, which is fine. That means that's what, 120 in 2 hours, and then 120.
It's 10 hours if you want 600.
Yeah, it'd be 10 hours of work if I wanted 600. At this rate, listen, I don't know if I need 600. I would love to have that many, but at the same time, I don't think I can sink 10 hours into doing this. So I think the answer is I'm going to keep going and make as much as I can. And when I get tired of making them, that's the number I have. And if I need more later, then I make more later. Okay. Chris and I did the math, and it's looking like we're going to need around 700 sandbags. And you may be asking yourself, Luke, is it worth it to hand make 700 sandbags out of Sculpey? And I think normally I would say, probably not. But in this situation, about 50% or more of the fun for me is the making, and the other 50% is the playing. So while it is tedious, there is a therapy to it of sitting here and folding and cutting and rolling and doing all of this. So I say, yeah, it is going to be worth it, and it's going to be very fun and very cool, and I'm going to like it. And hopefully it'll evoke a reaction in people, especially after we tell them that we made every single one of them by hand. I don't work tomorrow. Tomorrow's my Saturday. Saturday. So I don't work the next 2 days, which is great. So hopefully in the next 2 days we can crank out 700 little sandbags and start gluing them to the table. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow, after continuing to make them tonight. It's 11:50 p.m., nearly midnight, so I don't know how much more sandbagging I have in me, but we'll continue on tomorrow. I don't want to say it out loud, but maybe it's more like 1,400 sandbags.
Why'd you say it out loud?
Because it's probably more like 1,400. But that's okay. Here's the beginning of the journey to make 700 sandbags. Good night.